Welcome back to Your Best Year 2026, an online retreat delivered by Coaching Minds and our fantastic coaches. If you're tuned in, please say hi. Before I introduce our next wonderful coach that's going to step forward and share investing in your future self, a little bit more about who you need to become this year, I just want to acknowledge how great a session we just had. What was your key takeaway that we just had in terms of the session with Carly Brown around mapping our goals and our hope map for 2026 and beyond? Cindy, whilst everybody's putting the comments in, while people are tuning in, I just want to say a huge thank you for giving your time. I've seen you at every session this summit as well, engaging in the comments box, which has been really fantastic to see. And thank you for pulling this together and being here on a Sunday. I really, really appreciate it, Cindy. So thank you for being here.
Oh, thanks, Paul. It's so good to be here. And yeah, it's been great. I love it. I am an early riser. So, 4 or 5 in the morning, whatever time I got on here, it was great.
No, it's 5 o'clock yesterday, 5 o'clock today in the morning. It's commitment. And I really admire that. It's really, truly wonderful. So thank you for choosing to be here with us through these sessions. And I'm really excited for what you've pulled together here and how this is going to build on everything that we've already covered. So just to give those who are tuning in for the first time a bit of a recap of where we've been, we've talked about success yesterday. We then moved on to looking at our mindset and reauthoring our mindset for 2026. We then looked at how we plug in our values and the importance of having values and being aligned with our values. And then today we started with a wonderful session on how we set our goals and a positive lens on setting our goals, stepping away from SMART and some more thinking about motivation, pathways, agency, obstacles, all that sort of stuff. And now we have Cindy Blekaitis. Cindy, I hope I got your surname right this time. I know I've said it incorrect in the past. So brilliant. We've got Cindy stepping forward, who is also one of our coaches here at Coaching Minds, and she's got a wonderful session here on investing in your future self. So Cindy, I'm going to hand this over to you to give a little bit more about yourself and then to take us on this journey into investing in our future selves.
Thanks, Paul. And yes, you said it right. And it's great. And so it's Cindy Blekaitis. And I always say that's not a disease that I have. It's the surname. And I'm just so pleased to be here. My each session has been amazing and building on each other. And it just sort of made me even more excited to be able to do this with everyone today. I guess a little bit about me is, my background has been in counseling and then going through, working in corporate wellness most recently. And before that, going through, working in nonprofit in various settings. And it's, one of those, when I think about, where you talk about where you've worked and everything, I think, oh, well, I've been everywhere because I was saying, well, how do you put this all into a bio and that kind of thing? You think, okay, I've delivered retreats and team building things in boardrooms, and I've worked with prisoners in detention centers. So it's, my experience is really diverse that way, I like to say. And most recently, I've, like the last speaker, like Carly, I took the leap last year to go into self-employment, and I started my own business, doing all the things that I love, and adapting. When I switched from counseling into coaching, and so now that's my business, and it's Fairy Godmother Cayman. I'm based in the Cayman Islands, and so it's been such a journey and such a year, and yeah, so that's what I do. I do retreats, I do team building, I do, whether it's transformational healing journeys, that sort of thing, coaching. So I made the leap, self-employed. Woohoo!
Congratulations. Should we put the clap music on? I always have an opportunity to use the clap noise to celebrate when I would do that. So so to everybody who's gone and made that leap, it's important now. Yeah.
Well, and it is. It's such a, and that's why when I was looking at this topic and I was so excited to do this, I thought about, okay, so when you do take these steps and when you do, sort of, you have to be vulnerable. You have to make that jump and make that leap. And it truly is an investment into yourself and looking into the future and what you can see yourself becoming. And so I really aligned with this topic, and hope I'll do it justice the way it's going to work today.
I'm sure you will. And there's lots of people tuned in saying hello as well, Cindy, to be here with you on today's session. So we've got Adele tuned in, Donna's tuned in, and a lot of people are saying well done as well to you. So huge congratulations.
Oh, thank you all. I'm so glad you're all here too. And for anybody watching this on the recap, then I'm glad that I hope that you're seeing this, and I hope you watch some of the other sessions too, because they're all really amazing and dynamic.
Brilliant.
Okay, so should we get to it?
Yes, let's go.
All right, your future self. So it's funny when I say about my fairy godmother came in, and that came from, it was, I tied it into this because about, sometimes you think about, fairy godmothers and making wishes come true. And, some of it's, seeing yourself into the future and seeing yourself who you are to become. And, when I was talking through taglines for my company and that sort of thing, I was like, with fairy godmother, they grant wishes. But I thought about how, it's not about, your wish is my command as your fairy godmother. I see it as your wish is your command. So it's something that you create. It's something that you can look into and look forward to, and how I can be part of that process and help support you into that journey. So as far as that's where it all came from. And we're going to look at one of our intentions for today. And on the next slide, I think we've got a couple of little questions there for us to just ponder. And, we've talked about goals the last couple days. It feels like days, but it's just been such a good, couple of, the whole sessions, and looking at goals and our values and our mindset and the steps that we take. And so when you look at all of that, just something to think about where you're coming from, and just looking at, have you achieved a goal but maybe struggled to maintain it? Right. So just think about that for a second. I mean, I know I have. And, have you known what to do, but not been able to follow through? And I know I've done that too. So I'm owning it. You felt like you were starting over again and again. And sometimes, and I know that's true for me as well. And it's like, sometimes that's how we learn. That's how we take a step back sometimes and regroup and figure out the direction that we're going to take. And sometimes it is starting over. Sometimes it is just, cleaning the slate, wiping off the whiteboard and just starting over and collecting yourself. So when we're talking about going into the future, the future is part of that entire journey that you've already lived. And it's part of the journey that's in front of you as well. So I don't know, what about you, Paul? Do these things resonate with you?
All three of them. And I can see Adele as well. She's also tuned in and said guilty on all three of the questions. And I think many of us are probably guilty of this, depending on the goal area and how we feel. But yeah, no, I've definitely achieved a goal and struggled to maintain it. That generally comes to health goals for me, fitness goals. You hit a certain level, it's been difficult for me to achieve. Knowing what to do but not followed through. Yeah, there's been certain times when you have a plan. You spend lots of time in the planning stage at this point. You've got this, you've done that, you've done your research, you've got ready, but you just haven't pushed the button. You haven't stepped forward. You haven't actually gone through with what you want to do. Been there a few times as well, and felt like you were starting over and over again. Yeah, but I think we always start over from experience. No, it's not from scratch. There's something we can take away from our learning, I think, on that question. But guilty of all three.
No. Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's about, it's like you said, changing it, revising it, and moving forward from the experience you've already had. And I think Carly kind of said in the last session about, you keep revising and revising something before you're prepared to action it. And sometimes you end up overthinking it and not moving forward. So I love the strategy you gave about, if I've looked at it 3 times and I've revised it 3 times, and if at that point I'm still trying to be perfect, then she sends it to somebody else with fresh eyes. And I think, I need to start doing that.
That was a great tip.
Yeah. So, so I think on the next slide, we have, yes. So this is my, oh, I love the little fairy. So, again, lasting change doesn't start with what you do. It starts with who you are being. So that's just a little thought and putting your mind there. It's about, again, it's the actions that you take when they align with what's going on within you and who you know yourself to be, and you start shifting and moving forward with it. That's when talked about earlier about momentum. And that's when you start to build momentum and start moving into that, again, that future idea, the future self that you're wanting to become. So I like this one. Hopefully it resonates. Let me know in the comments.
Yeah, no, beautiful. I really love that quote. I think it's really important because so many of us think about what we want, what we need, and naturally we need to start to do that reflect and start to look inwards rather than outwards. So I think that, and I really resonate with that personally. And there's a few comments coming in here, Cindy, as well. So Donna's saying, I've learned to reframe, starting over again, because it's never from the same level. Each time you learn something new. Yeah, Donna.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And again, that experience and that's the positive experience, and maybe the less unfortunate experiences. We're learning all the time, and it's teaching us. And again, like, and you're respecting where you're coming from and the growth that comes with it. And so that's, when we talk about success, I mean, we're going to get into that, of course, moving forward. And it's success can mean a lot of things, a lot of different things. There's a lot of words for it. And so it's how you're, when you look into the future and how you're feeling successful in the different steps and finding those little bits of every day, those little success moments that you might have every day, whether it's in your work, in your relationships, in your own personal growth, in fitness, health, whichever it is. It's just finding those steps that you can tie your energy to keep you moving forward. So I think the next slide we're gonna look at how, so when sometimes in the next slide, it's how sometimes traditional goal setting can backfire. And it's, it's ways that there's so many ways to look at goal setting. And then we've covered it throughout this weekend. And there's different times when certain approaches to goal setting might not work for the situation that you're in. So I think on the next slide, traditional goals can be, sometimes it's rooted in this idea that it's something that we need to fix about ourselves, or it's something that it's about what other people think or what other people want for us. And you're getting this idea that, again, that what you're doing right now is sometimes, it unintentionally reinforces that idea that that it's not okay to be who we are right now, or that we're not, we're not enough. And sometimes, that's one of those, slippery slopes we can get into if, again, you're like Ed had talked about yesterday about when you're, your values and that sort of thing. If you're not operating from that sort of sphere, then you can create misalignment in what your goals truly mean to you. And that doesn't really, push you forward, motivating yourself to achieve those things. So sometimes I read a quote the other day about willpower, and it was along the lines of, I'm paraphrasing, that, if willpower was enough, we'd all be millionaires or something like that, or we'd all be skinny, or we'd all be, fitness buffs and that kind of thing. So it's the whole idea is like willpower is not enough. It's about doing an internal search, and we're going to get into that. So we're going to look at the real ideal gap. That's probably on the next slide. And the other thing I just want to really acknowledge and recognize is that, sometimes when we look at certain, ways that traditional goal setting, and it can actually, it's not looking at the resources you have for right now. It might not be recognizing, your current capacity and abilities, or even your nervous system. Our nervous system gets overloaded in times of stress, and when you're trying to achieve something, it can, increase those stress levels within the body, within the mind. And if we're focused solely on a certain traditional way of approaching a situation, then it doesn't allow for that compassion, that self-compassion, and that self-awareness that kind of that is present, and where our energy levels are, right? So, Paul, I was thinking about what you said about fitness goals and the New Year's resolution crew that is at the gym this time of year.
Yeah, and then by February, the gym's empty again. Yeah.
Right. And again, I'm guilty of that too. But it's it just goes to show you is that sometimes I've heard people say it before. It's like they set this resolution, they sign up for this gym membership, they really want to go, and they start off with everybody else, and there's so many people in the gym that it becomes intimidating, or it doesn't fit with their schedule, or maybe they don't have the energy because you're so burnt out after Christmas. And so that's just an example, but I love it. Or sometimes you sign up for a gym membership and you don't even go ever.
Yeah. No, we tend to do that. No, we tend to just have that idea, that want. And what I love about what you're sharing here, Cindy, is, we talked briefly about SMART in the last one, but this is starting to explore the actual realism, the R in SMART, how realistic is what we are setting, and again, it's going inward and looking at who we are. And I'm excited to see what else you've got in store and to explore this real ideal gap in a little bit more detail as well.
Yes, I'm hoping that's the next slide. Well, first, yes, the current goals we feel more. So looking at, are there certain goals that you have right now? So this is for, put it in the comments if you're seeing it on the replay. But just, kind of think about it for a second. Are there current goals that you have that feel more like pressure than support? So just kind of, just a little thought there.
No, really good question, and I'd like to invite the audience. Is there, do you have any current goals that feel more like pressure than support? And whilst we're waiting for that to come in, Cindy, we've got a few comments coming through. If you don't mind me bringing them into the space. So
absolutely.
Donna is saying goal setting tools and strategies have to align with where you are mentally and physically. Life can be overwhelming, and you might not be in the right mindset to plan too far into the future. I think that beautifully encapsulates everything you were sharing there.
Mm-hmm. I love that, Donna. Thank you. And that's so true. It's it moves us right into the whole the ideal self, future self sort of.
It does indeed. It does. In motivation, intention, and meaning is important factors as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that, Adele. It's like, so if you're externally motivated, if you're externally motivated and you're trying to achieve something that is external from you, it's that going into like from yesterday about the values. So if the external motivation that goes along with willpower or social pressure or peer pressure, there's positive peer pressure and negative peer pressure, and how you're receiving that and how you're internalizing it. And it is one of those, when you're trying to achieve something for other people, that's the thing that can trap us, and it's not a long-lasting change. And it's that your values keep popping in my head right now. Your values will win every time. So when you're going towards something, but it's not in alignment with your values, that's going to be something that, well, actually, that's the next slide, I think.
Okay, let's go. Let's start moving forward.
All right. So Carl Rogers, he was again in psychology, and looking at the idea of on the next slide, it's like the core concept is all about how we connect, and the growth happens through when you're operating from a place of alignment. And he labeled it as, the term he used was congruence, and we're going to get into that a little bit, and because it's not about pressure. So sometimes, like I said, about the peer pressure and all that, and sometimes when we're in this state, it's like the inner conflict when you're out of alignment, or with maybe the inner conflict when you're not ready to move forward into a certain goal, a certain place, or maybe you're at that point, you're not having the capacity, or you're not ready for it. And sometimes and when you're out of alignment with where you think you quote unquote should be and where you are, and that can create a lot of pressure and a lot of anxiety and conflict, and we're going to get to that with, I think I've got some, your actions definitely have to match with who you genuinely are in your authentic self, and not this idea of what others think that you're supposed to be or what others thinks that you're achieving. And so this is a question for people, for all of us to think about. It's like, and so where in your life are you pushing for change instead of allowing for alignment? Just a little thought there, if anybody has any thoughts. Where in your life are you pushing for change instead of allowing for alignment?
I think that's a really great question, Cindy. I really love that. Because there's a big difference between, trying to do something and doing something. When you're looking for that, pushing for alignment, it feels forced rather than natural. Yeah.
Right. It's the whole, we've heard the square peg into a round hole sort of example.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. So there's a few comments coming in, so I'll feed these through. So Dell's saying that I had self-inflicted pressure, which affects support.
Mm-hmm. I hear you.
Donna's saying comparing yourself to where you were before and where you are now can affect your mindset. So look from now to where the new you is heading.
Mm-hmm. I love that. I hear you. And it's one of those, and I think fitness or, sometimes the physical is the easiest example. And then you think, 10 years ago, I did a half marathon and my time was X. And you think, okay, we got to allow for the fact that, you're now 10 years older. You were, where were you then? Were you running every day? Were you training with other people? Have you had any injuries? Like there's all those different factors that we ask ourselves to sort of, make it more real, like you said earlier, Paul, about just seeing, okay, so if we go back, we can't go back in time and compare that we should be able to do the same things like we did before in that, because we're different people now. Your different mindset, you've learned, you've overcome, whatever that might be. And so I like that I said, but moving forward. So I think on the next slide, I've got a little diagram. Well, it's not little, I think it takes up the whole thing. So this was just a picture for Rogers with his idea about the real self is the, who you believe you are right now. So it's who you are set, your different values, your different expectations, your, circumstances, all of that. And then with the idea that looking at the ideal self, so who you aspire to become. And again, in the same categories, your values, like where you think, where you're moving forward to, and your idea of how that's going to look and what that is. So if you look at from the top, how do you feel when you're out of alignment, when you feel that your real self, where you are right now, is far away from that ideal self? And if you think about how it feels when you're in that space, when you're out of alignment.
And I know we've got a lot of coaches tuned in, Cindy, so I want you to think about yourself as a coach as well. Where are you trying to be this ideal version of a coach that you're maybe picking up from what you see on social media, what you're being told through the trends, that is actually not in alignment or out of alignment with your authenticity and natural self? I just want to put that out there, Cindy, for the coaches that are tuned in.
Yeah, exactly. And we know this. It's and it's something that we're working on with our clients. And that, when we're in that space of we're not aligned, we're not congruent, you think about all the ways, we become anxious, we become stressed. That's where we talk about mental health condition or challenges or symptoms start coming in. And so then Rogers looked at it and with the approach of, when you're achieving alignment, when you're achieving that congruence, your real self and your ideal self are overlapping more and more. And you are operating from a place of that authenticity. And you're able to, again, be yourself, bring yourself, because we bring ourselves into everything that we do, right? Because everywhere you go, there you are. And it's about if you're not operating from a place of that alignment. So an example I like to use is when maybe you're in a situation and you notice something that doesn't align with your values, or and it conflicts with you, and it creates this sense of, do I say something? Do I walk away? What should I do? And that's because, it's a signal. These emotions that you're picking up on, it's a signal that something is, again, out of alignment with you. It's something that doesn't fits with your values, or your ideas about how you want to be in that moment. And that has to do with people, places, things. So I can remember working with a client where, they were quite financially well, but the job they were doing was not aligned with their values. So they were be able to provide for their family, able to achieve these, look so successful and have all these wonderful things on the outside, but on the inside, they weren't feeling fulfilled. They were feeling drained constantly. So it's the whole, finding that balance and finding that fulfillment within. So when we look at, I think it's the next slide, or might be jumping ahead a bit, we're looking at the congruence with Rogers. Yeah. So then on the next one after that, when we're working with clients, and I love that the coaches are here, and I know I feel like I'm preaching to the choir a bit, but it's the whole honoring. And as coaches, this is what we do, right? We come with Rogers termed it as unconditional positive regard for your client, and being able to just hold that space and honor where they are. And we do that for ourselves as well, honor where you are, where you're growing, and then your actions tend to line up with those values. And we're not judging ourselves. We're honoring ourselves instead. And I believe it keeps coming up for me this whole weekend has been about progress, not perfection. And I just love that. And this is how, building that sustainable change that we can hold on to, and that keeps going forward with that momentum, is that self-trust, that the inner coherence. We said about finding that inner peace, right? And when you're operating from that growth mindset, that self-compassion, and then your motivation continues to grow, and it's about you have this sense of becoming fully aligned with yourself, and it's not about other people.
Oh, wonderful.
I know. I think to myself, I need to do more of that.
Yeah, no, we do indeed. Yeah, and that's what helps us step into who we truly are, no?
Yes, absolutely. Because it's about, acceptance. And when we're trying to make changes, it's being able to stop, accept, be mindful. There's a lot of these, there's all kinds of tools out there. And it's just a matter of finding the one that really sits well with us. And like we've talked about, I think we've talked about this so many times. It's right, Paul, it's like when you work with clients and just meeting them where they're at.
Yeah.
Right.
And
being that guide and walking alongside of them, not, because we talked about how so many times people think we're going to tell them what to do or where to go. And this is what success looks like. And it's a symptom of looking outside of ourselves for that fulfillment instead of tuning into that authentic self.
Yeah, no, it is indeed. No, very important.
So I believe I have a visualization exercise I wanted to introduce.
Brilliant.
And this is one of those, I'm going to invite people to walk with me on this. And it's an opportunity for you to look forward and journey into the future. So it's a brief exercise, and then there's some journal prompts on the slides to follow, and they have the workbooks as well. So again, this is an exercise you can do with yourself, with your clients. There are It's just kind of I've adapted it for this session and to kind of suit with my language, but I found it to be a really helpful exercise, and I hope everyone enjoys it. So for now, for anyone watching, if you're live, I just sort of invite you to get comfortable in your chair and just take a few deep breaths. So we're just going to take a nice deep breath in and then out. One more time. And out. I'm going to do another deep breath. And as you just allow your breathing to return to its natural pace. And as you do this, I just want you to, if you're comfortable, close your eyes or just sort of relax your gaze and let those eyes relax. Notice how you're sitting in your chair. Just let that relaxation go down. And if your feet are on the floor, just want you to roll your feet from your toes and back to your heels. Feel that connection. Feel that connection to the ground. Let your hands rest where you're comfortable. And with each breath, the tension is moving away from your body. Wherever your tension is present, it's moving away from you. It might be your jaw, might be your shoulders. Just allow that tension to just move away. You're safe. You are present. And you are about to meet someone extraordinary. I just invite you, imagine yourself standing at the beginning of a path. This path stretches out ahead of you, moving through time, moving toward your future. As you begin to walk this path, just notice what's around you. Maybe there's landscapes. Maybe there's seasons changing. Possibly moments of your life. And you're watching them. You're observing them. From a calm, peaceful, and focused place. You're moving down this path, forward through time. 6 months, a year, 2 years, Could even be just 1 month. You're not rushing. You're simply noticing and allowing time to unfold. As you walk, you begin to notice something in the distance. A person standing there on the path ahead. As you get closer, you realize this is you. This is your future self. The version of you who has already achieved what you're working towards. The version of you who has integrated your deepest values in life. The version of you who lives in complete alignment. So take a moment and observe your future self. What do you notice first? How do they stand? How do they carry themselves? Do you notice their presence, their energy? Notice their eyes. What quality do you see there? Peace, clarity, wisdom, joy. Your future self smiles at you, recognizes you. They've been expecting you. They're so glad you're here. Now step closer. And as you do, notice the energy. How do they present themselves to the world? You're gaining a deeper understanding. Where do they spend their time? What does their environment look like? So many questions. And your future self is giving you that wisdom. Allow yourself to receive their message. They ask you to come closer. They want to share something important with you. Now ask them, what values have become non-negotiable for us? What principles? And just listen. And ask them, when you face a challenge, how do you respond? Just notice their answer. What do they think about obstacles? What beliefs support them? They're sharing that wisdom with you. They are you. Now you start to wonder. So you ask them, what did you have to let go of to become who you are now? Listen carefully. What old stories did they release? What fears did they outgrow? What energy did they shift? Now ask, what do you know now that I need to understand today? Receive their wisdom. This is a gift they're giving you. Your future self reaches out to you and invites you to hold hands. And as you do that, something remarkable happens. You begin to merge. That wisdom comes through you to integrate. And you step into that future self. You're connected. You're seeing through the eyes of your future self, feeling what they feel, knowing what they know. And from this place, you're aligned with them. How does your body feel now? What's your energy like? What thoughts naturally appear in your mind? What do you believe about yourself? What do you believe about what's possible? Your goals in this space are not something that you're chasing. They're simply natural expression of who you are. This is identity. This is your authentic self. Everything flows from this core place. You're moving forward in your mindset. And it's not something that is difficult at all. It's quite natural. And it allows for other positive things to move forward towards you. Now, this is just about being who you are. And it's safe and powerful at the same time. Just notice where you are in this moment. receive this gift. In a moment, I'm going to invite you to return into the room, into the space. And you're bringing this future self with you. They're not separate from you. They are you. Now take a nice deep breath and hold and out. And another deep breath in. And I want you to notice your surroundings in your room, where you are. Feel your body in your chair. You're reconnecting with the present moment here. Wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers, and when you're ready, open your eyes.
Thanks for that, Cindy. Thank you.
Thanks. I'm wondering if everybody's in dreamland now. It's just such a, I don't know. I'm feeling really calm. How are you feeling?
Bit of a grounding now. Sleepy. ready to nod off.
So I just, as people are coming back and processing what the messages they've just received and their ideas, there are some, in the workbook, there's some journal prompts. And I think they're on, I'd love to know how everybody's, if the people are comfortable sharing, I'd love to hear it, where you're at right now. If there's anything that came to you during this, I'm happy to receive and hold space.
Donna saying beautiful, feeling floppy.
Oh, Donna. Yeah. See? Floppy's good, I think.
Yeah.
We're not judging. So with the journal book and the prompts, there's a slide on that, I think, just ahead.
Yeah.
So I came up with a few different ideas about the different prompts. And sometimes I found that the first time I did that exercise, I just wanted to write down everything that they told me so I would know which, if I should invest in Bitcoin or not. No. Sorry. But it's, sometimes when you receive these kind of messages and you have that ability to in tune with yourself like that, it's, I can understand if, these are prompts, and it's broken into, different categories, and it's about what resonates with you. It's not it's no judgment. It's you don't have to, it's not a homework assignment that we have to do. It's just looking at from a certain lens, whether it's, your values, your identity, your, behaviors, your responsibility, and finding that alignment within yourself. Because that sometimes we can see ourselves in the future, but there's the steps along the way that sometimes they're too, we find them to be, painful or far reaching or whatever it might be. That I think we talked about a little bit about the inner critic or the yesterday, and Ed mentioned about, it's not the inner critic is one thing, but it's the inner coach that within you that gives you that insight and asks you those questions. So if you're looking at, again, this is for everybody for their own purposes, but the version of me I met today lives differently. And it's because they prioritize merely a reflection, question, something to think about. What came to you? maybe it's I liked this one as well, like the belief that I had to release. Sometimes we hold on to these beliefs and we don't know where they came from or how long they've been there or what they're attached to. And, some of our belief system is our compass. I think someone said earlier about, your guiding compass, and sometimes those beliefs no longer serve us. They were useful for a period of time, and then now we're moving forward. And then, of course, looking at your values and what guides your decision. So these are just some prompts that if anybody wants to put in the comments, or if you're writing in your notebook, or if at this point you're reflecting on everything and maybe a bit overwhelmed. I recognize that. And I will, send that energy to you to just be where you're at.
And I think that these reflections and this exercise, it beautifully complements Jane's reflective questions yesterday when we're looking at the operating system and how we're currently the narrative and the story we're telling ourselves and how to change that as well. So think back to yesterday and bringing in that version that you wrote of what you want to 2026. Is there any connection between what you wrote yesterday and the visualization exercise that Cindy has done today? Is there any gaps between the version that you've seen through the visualization exercise and the story and chapter that you wrote with Jane yesterday as well?
Mm-hmm. That was a great exercise. And I loved that when she said about the darker, some of the darker pieces, like in my head, I keep saying the shadow and the contrast, that shadow side of ourselves and how it contrasts with that lighter side. And it's all part of you. And so it's part of us, and it's about having, again, that compassion and that being able to acknowledge, reflect, and, some of these things, it's like you said, the belief system that we hold and the being able to move forward into that, write that chapter, do we turn the page and shift our thinking?
Yeah, definitely.
So then that goes into, there's a next set of prompts that are in the workbook, and it's on the next slide. It's about integration. Oh no, behavior. Sorry, I jumped ahead. So this can sometimes is a bit more, something to really grasp onto. It's like your behavior responsibility. So a pattern your future self no longer engages in, right? A habit that your future self puts into practice. Some kind of recommendation, something you can see your future self has given you because they're with you. And maybe a boundary that the future self has recognized and understood now. And what boundary is it that they maintain that you've been something that you'd like to maintain? And, it's about guilt. It's about guilt. It's about not feeling guilty. Guilt is an emotion that tells you, it's a signal emotion that tells you that, oh, okay, something's happened, something's not right. And maybe I've done, you feel guilty about doing something, that maybe you've done something wrong, and there's nothing wrong at all with taking care of yourself and being aware of what it is that you need. And, sometimes it's other people feel, trying to bring guilt into your energy. And it's about, again, keeping yourself in alignment is not allowing that message to come through. Right? Because sometimes when guilt is put on us, it can actually easily go internalized and gets turned into shame. And we don't need that. We don't need to be operating from that place. So it no longer serves us. And the next part. Sorry, Paul.
I was just saying, I love these statements, and it gets us really thinking, the pattern to break, the habit we need to adopt, the boundaries that we need to put in place. Who do we need to become really loving this stuff. Thank you.
Yeah. I think, I'm looking at the time now.
All right.
So integrating this is sort of the prompts that are there. It's like, if I acted in this version of myself this week, what would you be doing? Or there's some steps, one small action in the next 72 hours. Again, this is a guide. It's about what suits you. And part of, like I said, with our coaching, might look at what are the obstacles, what might get in the way, and how I respond differently. And shifts take time, and again, self-compassion and having empathy for yourself, and that's why that's the beauty of coaching, is to having that unconditional positive regard, like we talked about in the beginning, is that a coach is to hold that space for you and help move through this with you at your pace, and give you that support, and ask some of these questions. So I think the next slide, or I don't know if anybody's commenting, but this is the...
Yeah, we've got a couple of comments too, if you want me to read them in, Cindy.
Sure, because I think
so
we're into the reflection time.
Which I say that the value that now guides my decision is being reflective and calm, not getting worked up.
I love that, Vijaya. I'm going to channel that for myself too.
And she's also saying the boundary, when it loads up. The boundary my future self maintains is letting go and saying no.
Mm-hmm. No is a full sentence.
And
sometimes...
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead, sorry. I think
I didn't hear. I got some feedback in my ear. Sorry. What were you saying?
No, go ahead. Go for it.
Yeah. Oh, I was just saying, no is a full sentence, and sometimes it's not the, it's something that people don't want to hear, and it's about, though, but like you said, like Vijaya, about like letting go. Their reactions to my boundary are that's not my responsibility, and I need to take care of myself. And that's what I think really makes it solidify that no is a full sentence.
Yeah, it is indeed. No, and it's brilliant that everyone's thinking and reflective on this. We can see Sabina's also saying letting go and not giving up. And so they're really good questions, Cindy. And what I just want to bring in as well, because I think this integration, it really complements what Carly was talking us through later on, especially that last one, what might get in the way, and how will I respond differently? So it's not about changing. Sometimes we need to look and change the goalpost, or move the goalpost, or change the goal slightly and adapt. But actually what we're looking at is ourselves. So it's not about changing the external, but how am I going to respond differently to this situation? Gives us a lot more power to the goals that we're moving forward. So this gives us another new perspective for the goals that we're setting, and we're working through the whole pathways to actually look at who we need to be at each of those stages as well. So thank you for sharing this integration.
Thank you too. And I think it does. I love that each session has tied in. It really sets home the point that it is internal work that we all need to do, right? And it's not about finding our fulfillment on the outside, or and there's feedback that can come in. There's always going to be feedback that comes in, because everybody has their own ideas. That's the beauty of the world. And but we're the gatekeepers of our mind and of our values and the place we operate from. And so being able to decide what's allowed to filter in, and how it affects your energy. And I love the letting go. It actually, I have a workshop I'm planning. I'm excited to talk about it. Paul, have you ever been axe throwing?
I have, yeah. I enjoy that. It's quite cool.
Right? So that there's a place here that's just opened up, and it's axe throwing. It's brand new. So I'm collaborating with them about doing a group coaching, and part of it is the letting go, and it's the physical exertion of being able to release. So again, it's not for everybody, but some people need that physical exertion. Some people are more like yoga reflective, and it's all about, like, there's no judgment. It's just it's just a safe place to be able to do something different with letting go.
Yeah, no, that sounds brilliant. No, it's a physical exertion. It's also a technique as well. It's not always easy to hit the log straight on as well. So there's a lot to think about when you do axe throwing.
Mm-hmm. I'm excited. You can come to like.
Yeah, just gonna fly to the Cayman Islands and let's go do some axe throwing. Yeah, no worries.
Yeah,
could make a couple of weeks of it and enjoy the beach right on there.
Hey, see, why not?
Exactly.
It could be like a whole. So that's the whole thing. I like. See, I think we should do the in-person retreat.
Brilliant. Yeah.
So I think we're about. That might have been at the end. I think the my next slide.
Yeah. Have we gone through this? One word that describes your future self, one behavior you're ready to let go, and one action you're committed to.
So again, this is something that a takeaway from, there's a deeper reflection like we looked at in the workbook. And then this is something just to bring it all together. And part of the integration is that, or if you'd put it in the comments, that'd be lovely. I'd love to hear it. So again, one word that describes your future self. One behavior you're ready to let go of. And one action you're committed to. So again, I invite people to put that in the comments. We'd love to hear it. We'd love to support you and hold that space for you. And if you're watching it on the replay, we'd still love to hear from you.
Yeah, please do drop it in the comments box. Let us know that one word that describes your future self, the behavior you're letting go, and that action that you're committing to off the back of today's session. Brilliant.
Yeah.
So there's a bit of a lag on the comments, Cindy, so they'll probably pop through in a couple of moments.
Okay. No problem. I think the next one. Oh, I'm on the wrong. Oh, yes. I was saying that transformation doesn't happen by becoming someone else. It happens by becoming more aligned with who you already are. So again, that's something I try to remind myself of often, when I'm feeling my energy pulled in too many different directions, or if I'm feeling, just kind of tuning in and being mindful of where I am and what I'm working towards. So, and knowing that, again, transforming, it takes time. It's like the cocoon and the butterfly, that from the other session the other day about, there's this transformation, this process that you go through, and the alignment and the base and the foundation is already there. It's about recognizing and using that energy and allowing it to be part of what you do every day in your different interactions, and in your priorities, in your conversations, in your relationships.
Brilliant. Now, it reminds me of some of the work of Bruce Lee, some of the concepts that he says that, one of the best goals we can achieve is self-actualization. And he illustrates the difference between self-actualization and fake self-actualization, where we're trying, because on the kind of sums of everything that you've been sharing today, Cindy, where we need to be working towards that aligned version of that future self, not a fake version of that ideal future self of what everybody else is telling us we should be and shouldn't be. So now that just brought that to my mind as you were sharing that.
Mm-hmm. And again, and starting at like you said, it's a process. It's something you move forward to, and it's not something that can be determined by anybody else. You can only be determined by you.
Yeah. Next slide.
I think. Oh yes, sorry. I keep clicking, but okay. So this is my fairy godmother Cayman. That is the company, and thank you, Paul. The QR code, if that'll, I believe, take people to
That'll take them to your
My
website.
Perfect.
Website. Yep.
Well, keep in mind it's in a transformational process.
Brilliant.
But it does exist, and it's work in progress, right?
Yeah, no, and that's what we talk about success. Success is that progress. And I had a look at your website when you sent this across, and we generated the QR code for you. Looks really beautiful. I really like how you designed that. It's looking fantastic. Looks like you do some really great work. So well done again on taking that leap. I know you shared at the beginning you took that leap into being self-employed last year, and that's really, really wonderful and fantastic.
Thank you. And that's, yes, I'm happy to. I know it has been a journey, and about really digging deep, and it's a labor of love, let's just say.
It is indeed. So I do encourage anybody who's tuned in, anybody that's watching the replay, please do scan the QR code, and a little bit more about Cindy and the work that she's doing over in the Cayman Islands and online as well. And if you're on your phone, you can just take a screenshot, and if you're on the modern day phones, you can click the QR code in your gallery a little bit later on. That will take you to Cindy's website. And the last thing we've also got here for you, Cindy, as well, I'm just conscious of time, is we have your QR code to your LinkedIn as well. So anybody that would like to connect with you on LinkedIn, they can screenshot this and scan this to connect with you there.
Awesome. Thank you. It really, this has been really fun.
It's been great to have you here. It's really great visualization exercise, and it's been good to tie in the other aspects that we've touched about. I think everything that we've talked about over the past 2 days has fed nicely into this, and getting us to just take a step back from jumping action and thinking about intention and mindset goals. So actually, who is it? Who is this future self? Who do we want to actually become? I think that's one of the most important questions that we can ask ourselves.
And it's an internal, reflection, and it's the, your whole mindset, your whole energy, your values. It just kind of, it brings together, each of the different topics we've done has just been, again, building on each other, and it's been great.
And thank you for being part of that and for everything that you shared today. It's been really wonderful. And a huge thank you to everybody who's tuned in as well. There's been lots of comments as we've been going through there. I know that the majority of the session was to ground us and was really fantastic as well. So thank you for taking part in that exercise with Cindy that she kindly guided us through, which was fantastic as well. So Cindy, any final words for the audience before I introduce our what's coming next?
Oh, yes. So, of course, I'm just appreciate everybody being here. Thank you for participating, for the support. If, again, feel free to reach out to me on through the website, through LinkedIn, and just let's stay connected, and we can all be letting go together and moving forward with confidence.
Brilliant. No, thank you for that, Cindy. There's lots of love and lots of comments coming in for you, which is fantastic. I just want to let everybody know what we've got coming off next. So we're going to be building upon thinking about who we need to become. And we're going to look at probably the most difficult part of achieving goals, achieving success, becoming our future selves, which is developing the habits and the consistency to get there. So in 1 hour's time, well, it's about 50 minutes time now because we're a little bit over time in this session. So at 1:30 p.m. UK time, we will be looking at how we become a creature of habit with the wonderful Vijaya Gary Sankar, who's going to be stepping forward and sharing a bit about habit blueprint and some tips and tools that we can use to really embed the successful habits that we need to make our future self possible and these goals achievable. So again, Cindy, I want to say a huge thank you for your time today, for pulling this together, being part of Your Best Year 2026 retreat, and a huge thank you to everyone who's tuned in. We look forward to seeing you very, very soon for our final session of our retreat. Thank you.
Thank you too.